No. 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 Yes, that's it.
Listen.
Live from the forest moon of Endor, Radio Free Endor, Star Wars podcast, bringing you news and reviews from the galaxy far, far away.
Welcome to episode 57 of Radio Free Endor. Spring is around the corner and we are still on lockdown of some sort, but at least the kids are back at school. And this pandemic is still going, but we are winning the war and maybe the end is in sight. But till then, let's talk a bit about Star Wars. I'm your host, Jamie, and with me is my son, Christopher. How you doing, Chris? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. I feel a bit like WandaVision, and I've been snapped back in time for by an hour.
Yeah, we've just been recording, gone literally 55 minutes into the recording, and then we suddenly had a technical snag, and audio was only captured on one side. So we have quickly jumped back to start the podcast again.
Yeah. So, let's get to it.
Right, let's get straight into it. Now, it's been going on for a couple of months now. The firing of Gina Carano, Cara Dune in The Mandalorian. Now, we've gone over this. Let's start it again. Now, I understood her tweets. I knew what was going on, what she meant with her tweets. She had an opinion. Everybody's entitled to her opinion. Some of the people that work for Lucasfilm have made it clear their opinions, but it seems that their opinion can get a straight pass, yet Gina Carano's does not. Now, if you look at Pesco, I always call him Pesco, right? If you look at Pedro's tweets, they are just as bad in my eyes, and maybe a little bit worse than what Gina Carano put. And if you also look at some of the other tweets from people who work at Lucasfilm, they totally, in my book, are quite racist, to the white majority, maybe, yeah, because you can be racist both ways in this day and age. I don't like it. I don't like the way Lucasfilm is being run at the moment behind the scenes. The TV wise, great, not got a problem. The High Republic, not my cup of tea. It's cup of tea to some people, but not mine, I have to say. And we'll probably discuss some of the new characters that are in the High Republic a little bit further on. But Chris, now you've got an opinion about what happened to Gina. I know it's way different to mine, but I do appreciate it. I do appreciate your opinion on the subject. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my opinion is that everybody is open to have their own political view, personal view, and world views. But what you shouldn't do is, when you're being put on a pedestal, like an actor or an actress in an influential position, you shouldn't share controversial opinions. I believe, as simple as it is, that she was fired not for her political views, but the controversial views of the pandemic. That simple. But my second thing to that is that I believe it was the last nail in the coffin. They were probably they lined it up, and they wanted it to happen. Bob Chapek, the CEO of Disney, said that even though it's controversial, the reason they did it was for, values that are universal, was the comment that was made. But personally, if I had a job in Star Wars, I probably wouldn't even post on social media. Nothing is taking that job away from me.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that. If I worked for Star Wars, I would not be. I'd be keeping well away from it, because I know what such a dangerous thing Twitter is. And to be fair, Chris, Twitter is very dangerous. It's, there is people on Twitter that are just out to get people. And James Gunn, it happened to James Gunn. even though what he said was years ago, and he apologized many, many, many times, in that it was just not good enough for some people, and he got fired. But since then, Disney have realised what the mistake they made, for the simple reason he went to Warner's to make Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, and they thought, oh, God, we kind of jumped here where we should have just took a little bit of time.
Yes, but
and they brought him back.
They were controversial opinions from years ago, not about something prevalent today. Obviously, I'm not saying you can view both lights differently, but what you can always do is cancel your Disney Plus subscription and stop paying Disney any money, because at the end of the day, they make the final opinion, they pay the bucks, and they'll do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's true. Some of her tweets, what she did put down, were political, 100%, and I understood, because when you're left, you got your left and your right, and when the left are calling the right Nazis all day long, you understand that when she puts on something that's, due to the Holocaust and stuff like that, and people go, oh, how dare she, blah, 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 blah. Well, you're sort of pushing the narrative that way for Republicans. God, I want to go to the States as a holiday. I wouldn't want to live there and go by their politics. Absolutely not. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, to me, yeah, I loved her character. What she does in her own time, she could do her in her bloody own time. I like that character in The Mandalorian. Now there is talk that she should be recast, so somebody else playing that character. I totally disagree with that. No, the galaxy is a big place. Just move on. The way season 2 ended of The Mandalorian, Chris, you'll probably agree, they could quite easily just finish The Mandalorian right there. Go no further with it, because there's plenty more series on the horizon. No need to recast her. Make up a whole brand new character that we're interested in. The galaxy's massive. There's plenty of stuff to see. When you start having recurring characters coming in, it makes the galaxy seem very, very small. Let's expand it. And that's what interests me. And the other thing as well, that with this cancel culture, and it does exist. A lot of people say it don't. It does exist. For the simple fact is, now her with the Dr. Seuss books and stuff like that, but cancelling her figure. Now it's the fans that are losing out here. I managed to pick one up from Zavi, and there's no way I wanted to open it to put it with my Razer Quest when I get it, but there's no way I'm going to open that now, because it'll be worth some money, because I hate to think there is a warehouse full of her characters and they're probably going to end up in a landfill or somewhere. Release the figure. The figure ain't good. You ain't going to put that figure in front of you and it's going to sprout out some opinions at you, is it?
I think it comes as simply down to royalties. If they carried on producing the figures, she could probably sue Disney for a lot of money, saying part of my contract said I get 10% or whatever of all profits made from my looks, and you fired me, but you're still producing all these toys and things.
Yeah.
So I'm due some of that money. My point on it was that her character was okay. Cool. Yeah, cool character. Not the biggest deal in the world. Not the smallest deal in the world. And I know a lot of people will say, but what about Rangers of the New Republic? Well, to me, I couldn't care if they just scribbled out her name and put Harrison Doolit's name instead.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you, because we talked about this. If Rangers of the New Republic is a continuation of Rebels with the characters from Rebels, I'm in. I'm in 100%.
Yeah, and that's really about everything to do with it. Like, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has the right to their opinion. But when you put on a pedestal in, a capitalistic market, you are at whims to who pays your bills, And it's as simple as that. Disney can do what they want. And everyone else can do what they want at the end of the day. Yeah. She's got a new gig at someone who doesn't find her controversial, and I'm sure she'll do well.
Yeah, the Daily Wire, isn't it?
Or if not, she'll go back to boxing.
Yeah, and kick some ass. Well, I'm just looking at StarWars.com, and if you put Cara Dune in, the databank will come up with her picture. She's still in that. But I've heard that some of the books, like The Art of or the visualization of The Mandalorian, they've been postponed. That it's all speculation at this point, because they think that they're trying to delete her character from the books. But at the end of the day, what they're going to do, digitally remove her from Disney Plus, from the episode? She was a great character. I really enjoyed her. Yeah, her story is technically done. To be fair, isn't it, Chris? Technically, her story is done in The Mandalorian. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's move on. Let's see what the next chapter of Star Wars is going to be. You know, with The Mandalorian or with other characters. It's just a pity that to me, the action figure, for God's sake, you know what I mean? And when you say likeness, there's many of the action figures you look at, you go, but that looks nothing like them. But, you know, the sculpts are getting better and better, I have to say. And I'm just looking at her character there, and it does kind of look like her, to be fair. It does kind of look like her.
What is it? Is it merchandise makes all the money?
It does make all the money, and to be fair, if they said to me, you know, would you want a share of the merchandise, I'd be like, yeah. There again, Hasbro, famous for not putting figures on pegs. So, you know, that's how the way the cookie crumbles, you could say. Now, talking about The Mandalorian, because let's get off this of this debacle with Cara Dune and Gina Carano. Bearing in mind, there was another just come to mind. If you go onto their Star Wars YouTube channel, if you watch any of the videos that they've posted, all the comments now are down with basically, I was also bullied. You know what I mean? Hashtags. It's getting stupid. Come on, guys. I know all the goodwill with the Mandalorian series. We thought it united the fanship. Let's not get rid of it now. Let's move on. Let's make something better. Let's get to it. You know what I mean? There's a Star Wars for you. Yeah? For whatever you're in, the diversity of the fans, you could say, there's a Star Wars for you. So just follow that. Basically, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. At the end of the day,
it's big enough for everyone.
Is an ever-expanding property, and in being diverse and inclusive, that means that there will be a story for everyone, and you don't have to watch it, and you will probably still have no recollection of ever missing anything.
We are the guardians of peace and justice. Beyond the stars is a near endless frontier. Our order was meant to shine its light in even the darkest corners of the galaxy. There, we found an evil that none of us had trained for, that threatens all we know. For the survival of the Republic, the fate of all Jedi, for control of the Force itself.
Now, let's get into the Star Wars in the New High Republic. Recently, they have just released some new characters for their books and comics, and one of them is a rock.
Leox Jossi is the eccentric pilot of a vessel known simply as the Vessel, co-piloted by Appy Hollow and navigated by Geode, who appears to be a rock. Right, Leox's go-with-the-flow attitude. With his effortless piloting, Appy's efficient repairs, and Geode's quick response, the vessel safely exits hyperspace.
With the power of editing, it's me from the future, as I was editing this podcast. I was looking for the clip for Geode on the Star Wars YouTube channel, but it's been deleted. So I've had to piece it together from other people's reaction videos so I can include it here. But if you went to look for it, it's gone. Now, back over to the regular podcast. It's a rock that has navigation skills and is the co-pilot of a ship called the Vessel. You think, how far do you have to scrape the barrel to get a character of a rock? You know what I mean? And basically, it all boils down to the person that wrote the story, their partner or brother or sister, suggested, why don't you just put a rock in it as a joke? And they did. Now, they've called this rock Geode. And if you go on Twitter, he's actually got a Twitter account. There's actually two, Real Geode and @Geode. And I quickly made up a Black Series figure because it tickled me. Half of me was like, oh God, you know what I mean? But the other half was like, well, that's kind of funny. And so I did this mock-up of a figure, and I put it on Twitter, and lo and behold, Geo tweeted back saying, I'm honoured that I have now got an action figure. And to be fair, it'd be really cheap as chips to get this action figure. All you have to do is go out into your garden. There's plenty of him laying around. So, yeah, good. Not my cup of tea, but, well, it is for some people.
Yeah, the High Republic is young adult novels. YA is a interesting area of Star Wars. Because I believe most of the books that came out so far have actually been adult novels. So yeah, High Republic.
The High Republic really does get into the diverse category of fans. So if that's your cup of tea, then fair enough that you go to it. That I certainly won't be paying much attention to the High Republic, apart from probably tweeting the odd tweet to Geode. He's my buddy. He's following me, and I've followed him, funny enough, on Twitter. So that time where you go, you know what, talking to a rock won't get you anywhere. Well, actually, it does. It'll get you somewhere in the galaxy. Because this rock here is a navigator rock. Did you know?
Yeah. Real Geode.
Yeah, Geode. Now, if you want to tweet him, why don't you tweet him anything to do with rocks? I've tweeted that I saw you in Shirley Valentine, where she was sitting there talking to Rock, and he says, "It's not my best work." And I did send my respects for the loss of Geode's family that was eaten by the rock creature from the Neverending Story. It's never nice to see rocks go that way. So yeah, and he even did, believe it or not, Chris, a little cameo in that was it. Raiders of the Lost Ark. He was the stone that got pushed out by Harrison Ford when he was escaping the Well of the Souls. He was also in Temple of Doom, where he got thrown to knock out a guard that was whipping some little children. So yeah, he's all over the place. Well done to Geode. He's everywhere.
Just a quick question. Do you think you've not seen his true form because you've only seen a picture?
Possibly. This is the thing.
And it's just a gag.
His essence. It could be just a gag, yeah. That his essence is inside the, like a Jedi or something is inside the rock, and eventually, because you've got to remember, Thing from the Fantastic Four is made of rock. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of
what's his name? Out of Marvel is made out of a tree.
Groot, yeah, it's a tree, yeah. But what's next? Are we going to have a plant pot? Are we going to have like a jar of coffee or something? I don't know. You could even, if I was in Star Wars now, I'd be a bit cautious about drinking my blue milk just in case it'll answer back to me. You know what I mean? Hey, is this alive?
I've tried the blue milk and it's 100% plant-based. So probably won't be answering back to you anytime soon.
Yeah. Now, let's move on from that, Chris. We've do you know what fans do is amazing, and a Russian team have built a full-scale Razer Quest. Did you see this? I think I sent you a link. Now, I'm on a couple of websites that's on Facebook, like Build. I backed the Razer Quest, a couple of them, and props and stuff like that, and it popped up that a team in Russia, some cosplayers, had built a full-size Razer Quest. Now, it has been on various news channels. If you go onto Fantatrax, they've got it there with some video of it, of the young lad talking about it. Of course, it's in Russian, so there is some subtitles. But I'm on his Instagram page, and if you put "just create," you see a guy standing there with Thor's axe in a snowy background. So just to let you know, you've got the right place, right? Just create. That's what I got. That's what I put in, and that's what I found. But his actual name is just.arl. Ayaal. That's how you spell his name. Now, wow, he's got pictures of this. He's a cosplayer himself, but he's got pictures of this Razer Quest. It looks fantastic. I want this. I want this built. I want this in my house. They should. This hopefully will be dragged around to conventions. How they, how much it cost them. I did know that the guy whose page this is, he ran out of money. He started it, and then other people put money into it. But what a build! It's unbelievable. He is on TikTok as well. If you got TikTok, if you put just AL, what a guy! That is impressive. Absolutely impressive. It's got the details of the cockpit, the landing ramp. Of course, he's got the full cosplay of the Mandalorian himself. Oh, looks absolutely fantastic. And he's carrying a little baby Yoda. If they wanted to do a fan film, this would be the ship to use. 100%. It looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so check him out. Go over to Instagram. Just put "just create" and you'll find him. And at the moment, he's got 9,879 followers. And I've just clicked to follow him as well. Absolutely fantastic. Unbelievable.
Pretty good. Before we carry on, why time has passed, the games of Star Wars have been taken to light. First, we have a new game coming. And it's actually a re-release of... is it Clone Commander? No, it's not Clone Commander.
Oh, God. Yes. Coming on the Switch. It's called Star Wars Republic Commandos. Now, I had this for the Xbox. It's the only reason I bought the original Xbox, to play this game.
Let's go! Push those cannons to the start!
Join the three brothers and become fierce hunters for the Republic.
Stay quiet. Move in. Execute assault.
Affirmative, sir. Hit him hard, Delta. Grenade! Cover me.
Wookiee freedom must not be sacrificed.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I love this game. Have you ever played it, Chris?
Before my time.
Oh, yeah, it was. Thinking about it, it was. Now, it's coming out on April the 6th this year. I am going to get this game so much so, because we've got the Switch. And I'm hoping it's enhanced, it's been redone. But it's going to be amazing. Now, it's a one-player game. It's, like I say, it's coming out on the Switch. I'm just seeing if there's going to be an online, but it just says this game supports online save data. what a game. I've actually got the soundtrack to this game, and it sounds very, funny enough, very Russian, the soundtrack is, with the a bit like Hunt for Red October. If you listen to the soundtrack to Hunt for Red October, it's very much like that. In fact, Chris, what I'll do is I'll stick a bit of the soundtrack just behind us now so the listeners can listen to it. But I love this game. I totally love this game. And it's coming out for according to this American site, it's $14.99. $14.99. But I'm wondering if that's like an online price for this game. Yeah, that is really, really good. And also, you've just finished Fallen Order, haven't you?
Yeah, so I was a patient gamer and picked up Fallen Order with its pre-order bonuses for £20. Bargain.
That is a bargain.
Before going into it, none of the story was ruined for me. None of the characters were ruined for me. I had no knowledge of anything that happens in it. And coming out of it, while the gameplay has been inspired by many different areas, the thing that stood out to me was the environments and the storyline as a whole, as like the details that were put into the universe. A lot of people do get very caught up on the environment though, saying that Zephos is a maze and that it was really hard. But before I completed it, I found every single one of the stim containers. So by the final bosses past Dathomir, I had all 10 stim canisters and could beat the game on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, I love this game. Just the look and the set pieces were just fantastic. Of course, you're playing it on Steam, so I would imagine the graphics will be far better than the PS4. I'm so looking forward to the sequel to this game. Now, I'm a member of a couple of the Facebook groups for Build the BD1 Droid. And one of the guys that is a coder for the new game wanted a model of it so he can see it on his desk. And he came on. Luckily, nobody really asked him any questions about, where's the game going to be or what it's about. They were very respectful. But, yeah, it's in the making. That's for sure. And also, this pandemic has made everything a little bit more problematic, so everything's taking a little bit of time because we want everyone to be safe, and I, for one, I'm not too bothered if it takes a year or 2 years to develop, as long as they bring down another 100% light game, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think the game has a lot of good storylines, but it can fall flat in areas, and I won't disagree. I think the only area where it really fell flat to me was the Inquisitors, to be fair.
Yeah.
Except for turning up once or twice, pretty much didn't see you. And what the only criticism that I could lay to the game was that the Inquisitors, found it pretty hard to find you, except from at certain points in the planets. But the bounty hunters could find you in 10 minutes.
Yeah, they could, yeah, that's right.
But, overall, a really good game. I got every skin, every poncho. My dude has some ponchos.
Yeah, I've got most of them. I think I'll have to go back and have a look, but I've got most of them myself. But I never wore them. I always chose my character not to have them, because I had him in a like an X-wing flight suit as well. I had him in no end of stuff. I never put him in the poncho. I didn't like the look of them, to be fair.
Wow.
But I tell you what, do love the ship. The ship for me was the visual effect of the Mantis going into hyperspace and coming back out. Oh, it's one of my favourite things about Star Wars. The way ships just go boom out of hyperspace. I love it. And if I've got the VR of Darth Vader's game, Vader Immortal, and when you actually have the VR system on and you come out of hyperspace, hyperdrive, it's amazing, Chris. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I've not played it yet. I will get around to playing it one day.
Yeah.
But I am a patient gamer, and I can wait for a deal.
Yeah. So can I. Now, the other thing as well that I wanted to talk to you about, Chris, is that you and your delightful girlfriend have just did a massive rewatch of the Clone Wars, didn't you?
So yeah, me and my partner have recently finished Clone Wars, and we are rewatching. I am rewatching Rebels, but it's the first time my partner has seen Rebels and the Clone Wars, and her overall opinion is that Ahsoka Tano is the best Star Wars character, the best Jedi, and can do nothing wrong. I would agree, to the point where when my partner, Holly, would say to me, "Who's your favourite character?" I can no longer say Ahsoka. I have to say a different character. So I now pick my second favourite character of Star Wars, Chopper. So we are watching season 1 of Rebels. We've got one episode left with the surprise of Falcon at the end. But overall, I think Rebels is going to resonate with me stronger overall than Clone Wars in the longer run, because Rebel does a lot of things better than the Clone Wars, and it's more concise, more condensed, and you could say that characters that we love have better storylines in it, such as my favourite, Darth Maul. His storyline in Clone Wars is great, but how it ends in Rebels with the Binary Suns episode, great. But also, you have characters such as Bo-Katan, where she's not a bad guy now, she's kind of a good guy. You also have characters like Sabine Wren and what she does, and with the Darksaber. So my overall opinion is that I can't wait to finish Rebels just in time for the Bad Batch. And we're going to be reviewing that, hopefully either week by week or arc by arc. We don't know yet, because obviously if we go arc by arc, it could be a 4-episode arc, or week by week. We don't know yet, and you will only know with a little bit of hindsight. I'm really looking forward to it.
I am as well. I did like the Bad Batch episodes in the season 7 of the Clone Wars. I'm looking forward to it. Like we say, we don't know if it's going to be a weekly thing or arc thing. Hopefully, it'll be a weekly thing. But we'll see as it goes down the line. Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Now,
Sorry, I was just going to say that I actually rewatched the episode of The Bad Batch, and they do literally nothing. They do nothing. They kill some droids, but actually, all 3 episodes were saying, "Oh, Echo's still alive, and Echo's this character." And anything, the story's more about Rex than it is actually about the Bad Batch.
Yeah, it is, 100%.
So, yes, I can't wait for it, and I can't wait to learn more, and I'm excited to hopefully see the return of Cad Bane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to jump into many of the characters that are featured in the Clone Wars. I think this series is basically going to take them away from the initial Clone Wars that's happening and take them to wherever they're fighting. They're a bit like Guns for Hire, if you know what I mean. And I'm hoping that none of them have got the chip in the head for the Order 66. Maybe those, because they were mishaps, or the Bad Batch, they didn't get that inhibitor put in. We don't know. I'm quite looking forward to it. I do like the style, the animation style of the Clone Wars. And you're talking about Rebels. There was I like Rebels. I really did love it. There's some proper epic storylines in that. For me, the only things that ever bothered me were not the story or nor the characters, but was just certain looks of characters. Like Yoda did not look like Yoda. I mean, he looked more like an old English magician called Anthony Daniels than he did the Yoda. And the other bits that you could have smash windows in a Star Destroyer that's in space and be able to breathe. But I suppose, you could always say shields, but that wouldn't be the case when they've got their helmets, unless they've got shields in the helmets. We never know. But yeah, I totally liked Rebels, and I will be 100% behind, and we've said it, that if the Rangers of the Republic was a continuation of Rebels, I'm 100% in. 100% in. Because we've seen a live-action version of the Ghost and Chopper in Rogue One, so we know it's possible, and considering that we've seen Ahsoka, that when we get Hera, they'll be easy to be able to get her into live action. All of them into live action. I generally do believe that the continuation story of Rebels will be a live action series. I really do.
As we know, there's always leaks and things going around of things that are happening. One that I think is very funny is that where people were saying Kathleen Kennedy is on the way out and Dave Filoni was going to replace her. I, for one, think that's the worst idea in the world. Dave Filoni should stay as a story writer. Kathleen Kennedy is a businesswoman. They're two completely different things,
Yeah, I understand that, Chris. I think what people are going on about is, they see Dave Filoni as the protege to George Lucas. And George Lucas did actually train him to take over from himself. But as a business person, maybe not. Right, Kathleen Kennedy, at the end of the day, I can't stand the woman. And a lot of people will go, oh, well, she was behind all the 80s films that I loved. Yeah, she was. Her name was on all the 80s films that I totally loved. But at the end of the day, she just paid money into it. She was just an executive producer. If you listen to some of the interviews from Steven Spielberg, he will actually say that all she did was like a glorified secretary. She would take notes, butt in a lot. But she just put money in. Executive me or you, Chris, could be executive producers of a film by just putting some money in or getting investors to invest in a film. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have any say into how good that film is. At the end of the day, that film is as good as the director and the story, right? The producers, maybe not. You know what I mean? Executive producer, should I say. And I generally do believe that it was a big mistake of George Lucas to put Kathleen Kennedy in place, because she promised George Lucas that she would, be the keeper of the original characters, and they've been treated with no respect whatsoever in the storylines. The sequels films, I've got them. I've got the box set. I wouldn't want them to be deleted or be, taken away from canon, because they're canon now. Yeah, I don't like them. I probably won't watch them. If I was going to watch any of the Disney era Star Wars films, I'd go to Rogue One. I'd go to Solo, right?
The thing is, and this is something that I actually feel quite passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Solo, Rogue One, on adult film. They're more adult than most Star Wars films. The core trilogy of films of the Skywalker trilogy, well, 9 films, is very family friendly. It is, right? Well, family friendly to a certain extent, you know. But I think, you know, we could talk about all these things all day, about the decisions they made and the decisions that they didn't make, you know. But, you know, Rian Johnson, if you said to me, Rian Johnson, director of Knives Out and Looper, was going to direct a Star Wars film today, I'd be like, probably going to be pretty good. And he is going to direct 3 more. They've said that's still going to happen.
Well,
no dates yet.
Lucasfilm have not said it, but he said it. You know, when it comes to Rian Johnson, Chris, if you go back looking through the old podcast when he was announced as he was going to be a director, I was like, hey, this guy's good. I like Looper. Looper was great. Yeah, but continuing a story is not his forte. Absolutely not. What he did with Star Wars was diabolical. Hated it. Totally hated it. But there again, J.J. Abrams' Star Wars was not particularly that good either. You know, I'll take them or leave them. I'd rather leave the whole 3, tell the truth, because they're just crap. They're crap. They're
you
crap.
say that.
Right?
Rian Johnson did an interview, I think, a few weeks ago, and he said, the plan was never to kill Ben at the end of the trilogy. It's like, what? Was the plan to kill
Rey?
Snoke?
Snoke?
You know? You just kind of did that one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think, you know, them films weren't for us. They were for people like my partner who are not deep in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Who want to watch a blockbuster and would be like, yeah, that was pretty good. You know, creepy guy at the end, killed a creepy guy. Heroes win. Hero sacrifice. Probably okay.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted, and that's what they got.
Yeah. Listen, you know, at the end of the day, I hated The Last Jedi. But, Chris, if you're going to make the 3rd film, you would carry it on with what he had done. You would have thought that Rian Johnson would have carried on the aspects of what the first film had created, carried it on. And then JJ coming back would carry it on. If you look at the Colin Trevorrow's script for what he had planned for episode 8, episode 9, isn't it? What he had planned for episode 9, I would have been 100% because he carried on the story that Rian did. Yeah? JJ just went, let's redo it. Let's retcon everything and redo it. And it was a mess. And to bring back Palpatine, I was like, oh, give me a break. And then for them to go, oh yeah, he was the plan from the very beginning. Get locked. Do you talk to your mum with that mouth? How can you? Do you know? How can you? You are such a liar. You would not believe anything that comes out of their mouths. I know they're trying to keep face and be all good with the company, but hold on. To say that you had Palps as from the beginning, Daisy Ridley came out with saying it was only at the last moment that she found out that she was the granddaughter of Palps. She loved the concept that she did come from nothing. She was the child of people of nobody, of your regular people. You know what I mean? Which, to be fair, that would have played better because Anakin Skywalker's mother was just a nobody. Do you know what I mean? Anybody in their right mind that actually thinks that, oh yeah, I can see why they use Palps, and no, they use Palps because Rian killed the main baddie from in the first film. It was just a mess. Rise of Skywalker is a total mess, 100%. But if he bothered to carry it on, even though The Last Jedi was a total mess, awful film, as long as they carried on what was created in that film, perhaps it would have been a better film. Not just reboot it, not just it's, you can tell when you watch them, Chris, that the directors didn't like each other and the writers weren't talking to each other. At least George Lucas had sort of a plan, maybe sort of a plan. These people didn't. They just willy-nilly. But saying that, Colin Trevorrow's script, Jewel of the Force, you can actually some people have actually made a comic book of it, which I'm going to download to read, and I bet you it's a far better film. It'll make a far better script, because Colin Trevorrow, he only got booted off from that film for the simple fact is you're only as good as your last movie, and that the last film that he made wasn't a box office hit, so you're out. Hold on, that was not a bad film. It was an indie film. He's an indie director at the end of the day, and it was not. I watched it, and it was not a bad film. I can't think what the name of it is now. It escapes me. But the guy rebooted Jurassic Park, and they are really good films. You know what I mean?
Are they?
Yeah, they're not bad. They are not bad as Jurassic Park.
I think I would rather watch Star Wars.
Would you?
The Force Awakens than
well,
Jurassic Park.
Saying
Jurassic
that, I totally enjoyed that little short that he made called The Battle of Big Rock, featuring Geode, as the Big Rock. Yeah, that was pretty good. I enjoyed that.
Look, the one thing, right? The trilogy, the third trilogy, they only did one thing badly out of the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
Was the story. It looked great. They got the best actors. They got the best costume design. But the story was not the best in areas.
Yeah.
But I hear the storyline of a lot of blockbuster films are very lukewarm most of the time.
Well, yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, you're 100%. They had they had the best actors. They had the best music. They had the best special effects. Yet the story was not that good. You know what I mean?
Well, at the end of the day...
How many MacGuffins do you need in a movie? A lot.
Yeah, but if you're going to watch it and be like, this is not, giving me the in-depth Star Wars knowledge I want, go read a book.
Yeah, go read a book. Play the game. Play a game. And there's, like we say, there's plenty of Star Wars out there on DVD. Go watch it. Even play the Lego games. They were better. You know what I mean? But, there is a story. Like I said, Chris, I've got the 4K box set. You know what I mean? And that's my pride and joy. That's going there. And, well, we're doing a Star Wars podcast. You know what I mean? It did, in a way, it did put me off. So I had a bit of a break, but I've come back, and, Star Wars has its ups and downs. I know it's changed. It's going to be forever changed in Disney's hands. Some for good, some for bad. But, they can I do believe they can get it right. Because look what they've done with Marvel. When you look at the how complex the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, and the little Easter eggs they've planted in the films going back 10 years that suddenly play out. They are playing the long game. They are playing the serious long game. But it's like, we had a chat about WandaVision. WandaVision was great. We had a chat about WandaVision in the last time we recorded. I don't know if we've covered it in this one. I'm not too sure. But, the Darkhold book, if you watch Doctor Strange, the Darkhold book is missing from the library. But that was 5 years ago, and it's just ended up in WandaVision. And it's like, if you watch Endgame, and spoilers, Captain America is really, really old. If you go back to, I'm not too sure which one it is, it's either the Winter Soldier or Civil War, when Captain America goes to the funeral of Carter, Agent Carter, there's a guy at the back holding the coffin, and he's got the same hairstyle as old Captain America. So, hold on, you never see his face. So is that saying that old Captain America is at the back carrying the coffin, and young Captain America is at the front of the coffin? Wow. Mind blown. There is some serious thinking there. I can't wait. And of course, now you've got the Spider-Man into it, and they've just released the Spider-Man title. Is it No Way Home or something like that? I'm looking forward to that, and that's not going to be that's coming out, I think, at the end of the year. Well, and if you've just seen WandaVision, WandaVision had a spoiler at the end, like an after credit scene that's going to lead in to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. But to look forward to what comes next, there's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yes. We may also review that on and off, depending how we feel, depending how the arcs are looking, as well.
Yeah, we were talking about this, weren't we, Chris?
Yeah. Something that I did want to say that I forgot to mention is this is the year for Lego Star Wars.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Re-release is coming out in summer. The Skywalker Saga.
Seems to be taking a long time for it to come out.
Yeah. All 9 games.
Now, I'm telling you this, Chris. I'm going to call it. Star Wars Lego is going to make the sequel trilogy better. Right? It's going to make it 100% better. Because I played the last versions of what they brought out, and it was better than the films, 100%. And they even add the story about how C-3PO got his red arm, which isn't a comic book. If you've not read the comic book, well, that's what they expect you to do nowadays when they put little Easter eggs in. They want you to buy the merchandise, buy the comics, buy the books. But if you bought the game, if you bought that the Lego Star Wars game, it actually had the level of how he got his red arm. I've read the comic book and I've played that level. I have to tell you now, the Lego version is far superior than the comic book. The comic book version is boring. It is crap. Well, not a very good read. You could
say they could have potentially held Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga back a little to give some bonus levels, potentially. But right now, if I was to go on Lego.com and buy a set, it would probably be Kylo Ren's Lando. That's a pretty sick one. I still think it's pretty sick. The Razer Quest is out of stock and disassembled, so I can't pick one of them up yet.
I really wanted the Razer Quest Lego set, just not been able to get around to buying it. I've got no money. I mean, simple as that.
You bought the other version, the non-Lego version.
Yes, that has cleared me out. The HasLab Razer Quest at 300 and so quid. It's not going to be out till sometime September this year. I'm so looking forward to getting that model. It is absolutely good. I love the Razer Quest.
Built before or after? Before season 2 or after season 2?
It's a season 1 version. Season 1 version, not season 2. The Lego version is season 2 because you could just smash it up and rebuild it. Yeah, and do you know what? I often thought if Lego did a game of The Mandalorian, can you just imagine that bit? It'd be like smash, and he'd be like, hey, and rebuild it really, really quick. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to both the Lego and the Razer Quest, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Before we go, because we've been going now for about 55 minutes, talking about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm really quite looking forward to this because the Captain America series was one of my favourites. The first episode will come out, I think, Chris, in a week's time from where we're recording now. That's when it's first out. So what we'll do, if we'll watch it on the Friday, because it'll be out on the Friday, and we'll probably have a little bit of a chat about it, say like this Saturday morning. If we feel like it's worthy to do a podcast about it, we'll do one, because I totally enjoyed how we did the Mandalorian. I know that's a Star Wars, but the concept of the format that we did the Mandalorian, maybe we can sort of do it for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, if it's crap, then we won't. We'll just talk about it a little bit. But you know, considering now that we've just had WandaVision, we've got Falcon the Winter Soldier. Soon as that finishes, you'll have the Loki series. Soon as somewhere in between, I think you'll have the Bad Batch, and of course that will lead you into the last half of the year where you will have more Star Wars coming out on the series. So from here on in, I think we're literally going to be doing an episode maybe once a week or maybe 2 or 3 in the month going forward. Which I totally, it was hard work to doing the Mandalorian week by week, but I totally enjoyed it. I totally enjoyed how we were talking about it. What do you think? Does that sound right? Does that sound doable?
Yeah, I think we just got to take it with its ebbs and flows, as you know. If it's with a Bad Batch, if it's more looking to be a arc, we wait. Or if not, we just carry on. And it really depends, because, you know, a first episode of an arc is pretty much like, yep, they're on this planet and there's a battle, and that's the end of the episode. You know? Yeah.
So, and also, hopefully, because we don't know any storylines about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, apart from that it's got the bad guy from Civil War, which was good because it wasn't a super villain. He was just a normal guy that decides to be a villain. So he's not super powered in any way. He's just a bad guy.
He's done his job. Tony Stark's dead.
He did.
Captain America's dead. Old. They've done all their jobs.
Civil War, you know, the Winter Soldier's good, but Civil War is one of my favourites because you could understand where that guy come from, because he had his family killed by the Avengers. You got to think about the fallout of what these superheroes do. There's always casualties when these superheroes go around doing their business, especially if you watch the series The Boys, where you see the fallout of what happens to normal folk when superheroes go off on one. Because you got to remember, everybody has a bad day, and if a superhero has a bad day, it's a bad day for everyone. That's what you got to remember. So I'm looking forward to this. Now, when it came to WandaVision, if I was going to rewatch that, I'd go in at episode 3, because the first 2 episodes didn't make sense, and I understood why the reviewers got 3 episodes, where I think we played 2. I think we got 2 on Disney Plus straight off. I did like the story. Unfortunately, when they introduced Agnes, you know, everybody automatically knew she was Agatha Harkness. You know what I mean? The witch. So when it turned out to be her, it was me all along. Every fan were like, yeah, we know. We know. Apart from non-readers of the comic. I'm not really a reader of the comic, but I knew it was her, because they based this story off the House of M. Now, because we're in a pandemic, there's a lot of story threads couldn't finish up, so there's a lot of plot holes, but that's because of the pandemic that's happening, and people can't get back for reshoots, or can't get into the studio, or they can't finish editing. That's just the nature of the business at the moment. It's not going to be like that, or for forever. We will eventually come out of it. I, for one, for me, I had COVID. I had COVID-19. My wife had it. Her mum had it. I come out the least affected by it. I just I felt bad for one day, but I had a real bad cough, and my senses of taste went, which was awful, and I could just smell burning everywhere. That's all. My wife was worse, and her mum went into hospital, but luckily enough, even you, Chris, you phoned me up, you got concerned for me, didn't you? And for us, it, people have lost their lives through it, and I'm not the healthiest guy. To be fair, I would be on the list that should be in the ground, to be fair, but I'm not. I came through it okay. I've got my shots now booked in a week's time, so I'll be getting my first dose of the vaccine. All good. Chris, your girlfriend, she's had her vaccine, hasn't she? Because she's in, well, she needed it. Once we are all vaccinated, once we've got this under control, life will get back, and films will get back, and TV will get back, and we can finally visit. I'm missing the cinema, Chris. I'm so missing the cinema. I'm so missing conventions. And I've just recently heard that San Diego Comic-Con's been cancelled. It's great that, they've been able to do it virtual, but it's not the same. It's not the same. They're going round looking at cosplayers and going over to the comic books and going through the comic books or finding the boxes. And I like those mystery boxes. And I can often haggle with those guys that's selling those mystery boxes. I miss all that, which, everybody is. Everybody is, what you agree, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, the one thing me and my partner Holly miss the most is going to the cinema. It's an activity we both enjoy in our relationship, and we enjoy, go and watch a movie. It won't be long until we are there, but we can't stop doing what we're doing. We still need to do it until everybody has had a vaccine.
Yeah, that's very true.
But my final comments to say is that, until then, we got a lot of on demand to keep on watching.
Oh yeah, we have. I've just recently watched the new Disney Plus film. Is it Raya and the Last Dragon?
Raya and the Last Dragon.
Yes. I loved it. Absolutely loved that film. It had Kelly Marie Tran. Is that her name? Kelly Marie Tran. She did the voice of the main character. Loved it. How beautiful that film is. I was thinking, God damn, I wish I saw this at the cinema. I would pay money to see it at the cinema. I paid for it to see it on Disney Plus, but I'd like to have seen it. I've got a pretty big TV with special lights around it, so I get a real good picture. Beautiful set pieces, beautiful animation, beautiful music. I love that film. I hope to, get back to the cinema to see it, again on the big screen. And like Chris said, there's loads of stuff streaming. I've just watched Coming to America as well, with Eddie Murphy. Now, I'm a big fan of the original Eddie Murphy film, Coming to America. And I thought this one was really good. I enjoyed it. It made me feel nostalgic for the original. A lot of reviewers hated it. They said it was just a rerun of the same film. But it's bound to be the same sort of story. The fish out war, some guy from Zumanda going to America and back again, find the bride. The only thing about it was there's a couple of bits in the trailer that are not in the film, like the part where King Akeem, somebody says to her, like, Zumanda is a bit like Wakanda, and he says, no, Wakanda is a fictional place. We're in a real place. That's missing. There's also a scene where Wesley Snipes' character, that's fantastic. He's shooting a big, massive painting of King Akeem, but that's missing. And can I just say that Wesley Snipes in this film is absolutely brilliant. And he comes from a place called Nextdoria. How cool is that? Nextdoria. Made me laugh so hard. Yeah, it's good. It's a good film. That's on Amazon Prime. So if you get a chance, watch that. I'm also, at the moment, Chris, I'm watching all of The Walking Dead and all of the Fear of the Walking Dead. I'm trying to catch up all of that. I've just burned through the podcasts of Biters and The Talking Dead on my podcast apps. And it was great, actually. I did Biters, but then I did The Talking Dead on their podcast, and it was literally 2 years ago on their podcast I started to listen, and I burned through them all in about 2 weeks. So it was weird them talking about the series and their lives, and I was thinking sooner or later the pandemic's going to hit. So it's going to hit, and then eventually they get to a date, and then hey, the pandemic's just hit. It was weird. It was like waiting for the Titanic to hit the iceberg. It was weird. It was just strange. But yeah, it's all good. There's plenty to do and plenty to watch and see and listen to. And of course, you can always tune into this podcast on iTunes. Somebody asked me if we was on Spotify, and I went, yeah, we are. We're not. But I'm going to see if I can rectify that. Also, I've got Ghost Heads coming out soon. There'll be another Ghost Heads. That's been on hiatus. Basically, the reason we had a break from Christmas till now is that, well, I got ill, and we had a death in the family, and you had the big move as well, Chris, didn't you? So we wanted to wait a little bit, but we thought it's time to get back on that bandwagon and start recording. And also, I did a podcast for Happiness and Darkness where we reviewed Hellboy. That was a pretty good rewatch. It's plenty to do.
Yeah, thank you for your time. My recommendation to watch would be season 2 of Snowpiercer. Pretty good.
Oh God, yeah, Snowpiercer. Why are we not covering that, Chris? We should be covering Snowpiercer because I watched the original film ages ago, and that took some time for that to be picked up by a distributor. You watched the first season, and I was like, because I was a big fan of the film. Then I watched it, and I was hooked. So I went straight in from season 1 to season 2 and waiting up. So I binged season 1, so waiting week by week for an episode is killing me, absolutely killing me. But it's a really good series. They have done some, they've changed it, but changed it for good in some really great story arcs through it. I love it. I love that film. And my Nikki, she loves the beginning, the music to it, the beginning intro. She loves that beginning intro. With the music in that. It's great. I like it.
One does not simply not watch Snowpiercer.
Yeah, and we've got Sean Bean as Winfred in it, and he's great. And in fact, me and Nikki just go around shouting the B word at each other. Every time he's on, we go, "Bruh!" Because he's famous for saying the B word. You know what I mean? And there was a thing on it, because did you notice, Chris, on the latest episode that's just been on, he's got this, his girlfriend, you could say, in his quarters. Now, she's American. She's like an American character. But for some reason, she tried doing a Yorkshire accent. In one scene, she tried to do a Yorkshire accent. And me and Nick about, what happened just there? Because then she quickly switched it back to an American accent. I'm not too sure if the actress is English or American or not, but she was doing, I'm sure it's an American accent, but she tried to do a Yorkshire twinge. Now, I must admit that me and Nikki have been like going, oh, they've been putting shout out. Bless them, they've actually said that Winfred was actually from Winifred. Is it Winifred? Wilfred, yeah. He's actually from Sheffield, which is where Sean Bean is from.
Joseph, is it Joseph Wilfred?
Yes. Yeah, they've put his backstory that he's from Sheffield, where Sean Bean is, so that's great. And you've got the head of, what's her name? Where's the blue, Chris? Ruth, yeah. Ruth. She was the owner of a guest house that Sean Bean's character says, hey, you come work for me. Come work for me. And in the UK, we've got him doing the adverts for Yorkshire Tea at the moment. So it's kind of weird.
Morning, all. Morning. Brothers, sisters, today a great legacy rests upon your shoulders. Because here, we make more than just tea. We make proper brews. Brews that bring a tear to your eye and warmth to your soul. So go out there and do it for each other. Do it for yourselves, but most of all, do it for Yorkshire! Oh, and the fire drill's Thursday at 3.
Yorkshire Tea, where everything's done proper.
It's definitely picking up.
Yeah.
Season 1 of Snowpiercer, you could say is a bit of a drag, but season 2 very much picks it up and takes the conductor role and takes it in a very good direction.
Yeah, it's the first season is very much the film, isn't it? It's like a retelling of the film, but once they've got that over with, they've got the freedom to go into another story, and I love it, absolutely love it. Now, there is another series that I've been watching, Chris. I don't know if you've watched it, but it's on Sky One. It is a sci-fi original film, and I've got the comic book. It's called Resident Alien. Now, it's directed and produced by Robert Duncan McNeil, who played Tom Paris in Star Trek Voyager. Now, I also listened to his podcast where he's going week by week over each episode with Harry Kim. Those two, Harry Kim and Tom Paris, going over each episode of Star Trek Voyager, which is great because I've just rewatched Star Trek Voyager on Netflix as well. But he's done this series called Resident Alien on Sky One. It's fantastic. I love it. As soon as that gets released on DVD on Blu-ray, I'm buying it. It's so funny. Alan Tudyk is playing the alien who's stroke doctor of this small Alaskan town, but the comedy in it is just brilliant. So good. He is so good at comedy. I love this series. I hope Sci-Fi are famous for cancelling stuff. I so hope they don't cancel this. I hope this goes to season 2 because I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. And you can get it up.
Alan Tudyk.
I've
been a fan of his since Peter the Pirate.
Peter the Pirate, yeah, from Dodgeball. Yeah, loved it. Yeah, he was in the last. Is it The Last Night? No, A Knight's Tale. That was his first thing with Heath Ledger back in the day. Where he played. It had Queen music to it as well. And that was his first thing. And of course, he played the pilot in Firefly, and he also played K2SO in Rogue One, and he also does the voice of Tuk Tuk in the new Disney film, the Last Dragon.
Yeah,
he does the voice of that. So he's famous for doing voices, Mason. But his acting, he's such a good comedic actor. Chris, I recommend it to you. You can get it on catch up on Sky One. Watch it. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. It's really well written. Brilliant. It's really good. And if it does get cancelled, please Netflix, pick it up. Pick it up. You know what I mean? It's so good. So good.
Yeah. That's about it. I need to go and get some food.
That is about
2 hours later.
That's only because we didn't record the first one. But we are here, and this is it. We are now at the end. Well, if you want to show love, you're just looking at, is that the promo? It's just we're talking on Discord. It's just popped up a promo. Is that the promo for the next episode of Snowpiercer? All right, okay, right. So you want to show your love for this show? Look ultra cool? Then head over to TeePublic and get your official Radio Free Endor t-shirt, hoodie, mask, stickers, mugs, keyrings, mouse mats. Everything there on TeePublic. Also, iTunes is still the best place to download the show. And while you're there, take some time out and give us a 5-star review. We also love comments. And I do read the comments. If anyone posts it, I'll be posting it on Facebook as well as Twitter. Please, we'd love some feedback. Love to get some real good feedback. If you've got anything you want to ask us, please send it in. You know what I mean? We don't mind if you've got different opinions to ours. You know what I mean? We love it. Anything. Just send it in to us. And also you can reach out to us on social media. So search for us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. We are at Radio Free Endor. You can find me at Jamie_R_Burns. And our email is radiofreeendor@gmail.com. Like I said before, I'm also the host of Ghostheads UK podcast, so that's ghostheads@gmail.com as well if you've got a ghost story. Love ghost stories. Chris, where can the listeners get hold of you and your podcast?
yeah, you can listen to my podcast if you're a developer in the JavaScript community, fsjamdog, and you can find me on Twitter, BurnChris, and talk about JavaScript and the business I run and side projects. That's about it. Thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okie dokie. And that just leaves me to say, see you later. And we'll see you back here for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Take care. Bye-bye.